Alrighty, so we're back on the basketball channel with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to predict the 2021 NBA season, including the NBA Finals and the MVP race. That's what I'm going to do in today's video. But before I get into this video, you guys need to subscribe to this channel. I know we haven't been posting a lot recently on this channel, but we're going to start posting again now that the NBA season is back up with today's first game today. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications. And yeah, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should have subscribed by now. All right, let's go ahead and get into my NBA season predictions. We're going to start off with the awards because the awards, I don't get too excited about the awards. A lot of people do, but I'm not one that gets too crazy over the awards. So for my Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets. Jalen Green, it's not anything towards Cade Cunningham. I think that Jalen Green is the better rookie. Now, like I said, no offense to Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is a very, very good player. But I think that Jalen Green is more of a player that's going to post the points, and he's also one of the more exciting players, and is going to be a very exciting player for the Houston Rockets. And I think that he'll get the Rookie of the Year. The Sixth Man of the Year, I'm going to go with Jordan Clarkson. I'm pretty sure he won it last year as well, if I'm not mistaken. And Jordan Clarkson, I feel like, is kind of the obvious guy. This guy would be a starter on most teams. I mean, the Utah Jazz are a very good team. But, yeah, I mean, he probably should be a starter, honestly. If it wasn't for Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, he would be a starter. But on most teams, like I said, he would be a starter. Jordan Clarkson is a great scorer off the bench, and I think he'll win Sixth Man of the Year once again. And the Defensive Player of the Year this year, I've got Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo, I think, is due for a MVP or a Defensive Player of the Year vote or win because this guy's always so good on the defensive end. Always is really good. He does it on the offensive end too. Bam Adebayo is a great player, especially on the defensive end, and he's going to be a big part of why the Miami Heat are one of the best teams in the league and why they're one of the best defensive teams in the league as well. And the most improved player, I feel like not enough people are talking about, of the Los Angeles Clippers, Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann showed why he could be a very solid player in the playoffs last year. And I think this is a guy that's poised for a breakout year this year. And the reason why is because Kawhi Leonard's not going to be playing for a lot this year. And they're going to have somebody step up in the absence of Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, they played very well in the playoffs last year, but Terrence Mann had to be very good for them to do that. Terrence Mann is my most improved player this year. And the most valuable player this year, I'm going to give it to Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant, I mean, some people may not like him because of his Warriors stuff and stuff, which is totally understandable, but Kevin Durant is a great player. And if you say anything different, you clearly don't watch basketball. I'm sorry. You're a casual basketball fan if you don't think that Kevin Durant is really one of the best players in the league, if not the best. Because Kevin Durant, he can shoot, has deep range, is 7 feet tall, may I add, and can shoot it from 10 feet behind the 3-point line, can back you down and give you a one-leg fadeaway. Kevin Durant is one of the best players in the NBA. Let's go ahead and head to the Eastern Conference NBA season predictions. If the 15th seed is going to be the Orlando Magic. The Magic are not making the playoffs this year. It's pretty simple. The Magic had a complete teardown last year at the deadline, trading Nikola Vucevic, trading basically anybody that was worth value, including Aaron Gordon. And this team is going to be a team that is going to be terrible this year. And I'm sorry, Magic fans, but if you've heard that from everybody else. Like, everybody else has already told you you're going to be terrible. And for the next few years, they can kind of plan on being terrible, honestly, because that's what they're going to be. For the Magic, they have Cole Anthony and Gary Harris in their starting backcourt. Terrence Ross, Chuma Okeke, and Wendell Carter in the front court. Wendell Carter just got a 4-year, $50 million extension. Mo Bamba maybe is a guy that could break out a little bit. Suggs will get good playing time as well in Orlando, along with Jonathan Isaac and Franz Wagner, who could be in the starting lineup as well. But who knows? But Markelle Fultz, and it will be a good bench piece as well. And look for Michael Carter-Williams and Ejuan Moore to possibly be dealt at the deadline along with Robin Lopez. Next up, the 14th seed is the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are not going to be good again. Drafting Cade Cunningham, yes, is a big, big W, and that's simple. That it's a big W for them to get him. But they're not going to be anywhere near good this year. It's pretty simple that they're not going to be good this year. This is a Pistons team that has not been good for a while now. Starting will be Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Kelly Olynyk. At least that's the way I think the lineup would look like. Killian Hayes probably at shooting guard and Cade at point guard. But Cade's definitely going to be starting this year, and he's going to get a lot of playing time. Josh Jackson really showed how he could make an impact last year. And Kelly Olynyk in his time with the Rockets played very well last year. They're not looking for him to play particularly well, but still. 13th seeds, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know a lot of people are kind of high on the Cavaliers this year. I mean, they're not going to be good still. I think that Darius Garland is in for a big breakout year this year. Him, Sexton, Okoro, Marketing, and Allen should be their starters this year. Kevin Love, I don't see him starting. I think he might just ride the pen or bench up. Honestly, and I hope Evan Mobley starts over Lauri Markkanen, but knowing how dumb the Cavs are, they'll probably start Markkanen over Mobley. And the 12th seed's the Washington Wizards. I think they kind of have another disappointing year. Hopefully Bradley Beal gets traded in another disappointing year in my predictions for the Washington Wizards. The Wizards have Bradley Beal, obviously, and you could argue they got better this offseason. You're going to have Dinwiddie, Beal, Kentavious or Denny Avdija, Roy Hachimura, and Thomas Bryant in the starting lineup. And that's not a bad starting lineup at all, but the East is very competitive this year, underratedly competitive, and I don't see them doing too much this year. The 11th seed is my favorite team, the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets made some improvements in the offseason getting Kelly Oubre, and Mason Plumlee. That was about it. Ish Smith as well. But the starters this year will be LaMelo, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, P.J. Washington, and Mason Plumlee, which is a pretty good starting five. And they have some good bench pieces as well, including Miles Bridges, Kelly Oubre, and James Bouknight. James Bouknight hopefully can make a big impact, or at least a pretty big impact off the bench. I would love for him to make a big impact. He was one of my favorite players of the 2021 draft, not just biasly saying that. 10th seed, I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors. They do make the play-in game, obviously. We're not going to do the play-in game stuff because, realistically, that's what my predictions say. But for the Raptors this year, I think that the Raptors might surprise some people this year because I think they are going to be better than a lot of people are giving them credit for. It's going to be Dragic, Van Fleet, Anunoby, Siakam, and Kim Birch as their starters this year. Precious Achiuwa maybe is that starting center. Who knows, though? And yeah, this Raptors team is a little underrated. Goran Dragic should definitely be dealt at the deadline, though. 9, Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are a very solid team and a team that people seem to underrate every year. I thought about putting them in the playoffs, but I think they just missed the playoffs. The Pacers have Brogdon, LeVert, Warren. It's probably going to be O'Shea Brissett as their never mind. Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner to round out their starting lineup. They have a very good starting five and some pretty good bench pieces as well. The 8th seed, I'm going to give it to the Boston Celtics. The Celtics by no means do I think is really going to be that great, but they're going to be enough to make the playoffs in the East. The Celtics have obviously Jason Tatum, which is going to lead them a lot, and Jaylen Brown. Well, without Horford, Marcus Smart, and Dennis Schroeder rounding out the starting five this year, they've got some good bench pieces as well. Josh Richardson's a guy who could come off the bench and be very helpful defensively. Aaron Nesmith, Peyton Pritchard, and Enes Kanter kind of round out their bench. 7, Philadelphia 76ers. I think the 76ers, if you're talking about them as a top 4 seed, you're just lying to yourself. They're not a top 4 seed. Not at all are they a top 4 seed. With the questions of Ben Simmons and what's going to happen with Ben Simmons, there's no way that I can particularly see the 76ers being a top 4 seed. They'll have Embiid, Harris, Thibault, who could win Defensive Player of the Year, honestly. 6, Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are a team that made some big improvements in the offseason. Very big improvements this offseason. Alonzo Ball's now in the team. Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic will be their starters, and that is a great starting five. Kobe White maybe can contribute off the bench along with Alex Caruso and Derrick Jones. But this Bulls team is very, very good, and there's a lot of new things for them to work out. The Bulls are a 6th seed, which is very good for what they've been the last few years. 5, New York Knicks. The Knicks are not being talked about enough, in my opinion. The Knicks are a team that played very well last year in Tom Thibodeau's first season, and I think that they'll continue to play well. I really do. I think they're going to continue to play well, and I think there's something to be excited about with this New York Knicks team if you're a Knicks fan. They brought in Kemba Walker this offseason, and they brought back Derrick Rose, which is huge. RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier will be shooting guard, small forward. And Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson will round out the power forward and center positions. And they have a very good bench, too, kind of an underrated one. Next up at number 4 is Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are not getting enough talk either. The Hawks are a very good team. Very, very good. The Hawks are a team that just made it almost to the NBA Finals last year, making it to the Western or Eastern Conference Finals. And like I said, they're not getting enough love. Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella are their starters, but they have a phenomenal bench. Bojan Bogdanovic, who could start really over Kevin Huerter, if we're being honest. Cam Reddish, Delino Gallinari, and Onyeka Okongwu. And they had a really good draft as well, drafting Sharif Cooper and Jalen Johnson. Something to be excited about with this Hawks team. My 3 seeds, Miami Heat. I think that the Heat are much improved from last year, bringing in Kyle Lowry. Something definitely to be excited about. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Tyler Hero, I think, definitely is going to be better this year. And Duncan Robinson as well. This team is very, very good. And, there's something to be excited about with this Miami Heat team. They're going to be one of the best defensive teams in the league, I think, this year. Next up at number 2, Brooklyn Nets. The uncertainty of Kyrie Irving is why they're not the number 1 seed, in my opinion. Honestly. They would be my number 1 seed if it wasn't for Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving really ruins them a lot because I think that they are NBA Finals favorites if Kyrie Irving's on the floor. You've still got Kevin Durant, James Harden besides that, and Joe Harris. And, Patty Mills is not a bad starting point guard, but Kyrie Irving's way better. And my number 1 seed is the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks, I just can't see them not being the number 1 seed with the Nets without Kyrie Irving. And the Bucks have a very solid big 3 with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously. And, this team's very, very good, and I think they finish as the number 1 seed. Let's go ahead to the Eastern Conference playoffs now. And the Eastern Conference playoffs, the 1 seed versus the 8 seed, Bucks win over the Celtics. Pretty easy. Nets over the Sixers. Nets win. And the Heat win over the Bulls, and the Hawks win over the Knicks. I know I picked all the higher seeds. Sorry if that's boring. And let's move on to the next one. My Eastern Conference predictions. Again, we've got the Bucks versus Hawks. I'm going to go with a surprise pick here. Atlanta Hawks win. This Hawks team, I really think, is going to have a phenomenal year. And the Nets win over the Heat. I think pretty close. And my NBA I can't say that. But my Eastern Conference team for the NBA Finals is the Brooklyn Nets. I have them winning. And now let's go ahead and go on to the Western Conference. The 15th seed, Oklahoma City Thunder. They're going to be awful this year. Gilgeous-Alexander obviously is going to be exciting. We'll see what Josh Giddey does. But this Thunder team is bad. 14, San Antonio Spurs. This is a surprising one, but it's not because the Spurs are bad. They're really bad. And this is the first year under Popovich that they're really not competing at all. And for Popovich, that'll be something a little different for him because they're not going to be competing, like I said. DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Keldon Johnson, Thaddeus Young, and Jacob Poeltl will be the starters this year in San Antonio, most likely. And Joshua Primo, I think he'll start in the G League, who was their first-round pick. And Devin Vassell maybe is in for a breakout year. I think he definitely could be. 13 Minnesota Timberwolves. All people are going to go crazy over this. But the Timberwolves are not good. They are not good at all. Karl Anthony Towns is very, very good. I'll give him that. But their forward positions are about non-existent. And D'Angelo Russell doesn't play any defense. And obviously you've got Anthony Edwards, which is something to be very excited about. But D'Angelo Russell, I just don't know about the defense of this team. I think this defense is going to be probably the worst in all of the National Basketball Association this year. At 12, Houston Rockets. The Rockets, I think, might surprise a few people by being the 12th seed. But no, they're actually not terrible. Like, they're bad, but they're not too bad. If that makes any sense. And for this Houston Rockets team, they're going to be starting John Wall or Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate, Daniel Tice, and Christian Wood. They signed Daniel Tice to a 4-year deal, which was very surprising to me and very dumb. John Wall, they'll be looking to get off that contract. 11, Sacramento Kings. They make the playoffs again. Sorry, Kings fans. But I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They just miss out on the play-in game this year. Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, great backcourt. Harrison Barnes as well, Rashawn Holmes. But, yeah. 10, Pelicans. The Pelicans make the playoff game, and this is going to be an exciting play-in game, which will be between the Warriors and the Pelicans. Zion versus Curry. That's awfully that would be awfully good for the NBA. But 10, Pelicans. The Pelicans have Zion and Brandon Ingram at the forward positions. And made some questionable moves in, the offseason. Not bringing back Lonzo was the most questionable one, obviously. But this is a team that brought in Devontae Graham this offseason, Thomas Satoransky, as replacements. I like the move of Jonas Valanciunas a lot, but I don't like the move of not bringing back Lonzo Ball. And that was your main defensive anchor on this team. Don't like that at all. Number 9, Golden State Warriors. I think the Warriors miss out on the playoffs. And I think the Warriors are kind of the most overrated team this year. I'm sorry, Warriors fans. But they're kind of the most overrated team. Unless Jordan Poole really has a big year. Curry, Poole, Wiggins, Draymond, and James Wiseman will be their starters this year. And like I said, there's some production needed off the bench as well for this team. Definitely some production needed. And I just don't think they have that. At 8, Trailblazers. Blazers are in the middle of mediocrity, honestly. They're going to make the 8th, 7th seed probably. Because Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are going to lead them there. There's nothing really to be too much excited about with this Portland Trailblazers team. 7, Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are a very solid team, a really good team that really just is. It doesn't help that they're in such a rough conference, but they are. And for the Grizzlies, they obviously have John Morant, who's their superstar, their best player. Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Steven Adams will round out the starting 5 for this team. And this team's very, very good defensively. And Desmond Bane had a great year last year. I think he is like an underrated, not most improved, but like an underrated, improved player type person. Next up, at number 6, I've got the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers season depends a lot on what is happening with Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard is going to be out for quite a bit of this year. Bledsoe, Paul George, I guess Justice Winslow, Batum, or Morris, and Ibaka will round out the starting 5 for this team. This Clippers team, without Kawhi Leonard, obviously is going to need Terrence Mann to set up. That's why he's my most improved player, which hopefully will be right. But, yeah, who knows. 5, Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks disappointed last year when I had them as a really high seed in my predictions. But now I think that they definitely could be very good this year. Luka Doncic obviously is their best player by far. Kristaps Porzingis is going to come in as a motivated Porzingis this year, and that's going to be a big key. Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Moses Brown round out their starting 5. Number 4, Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are another team that is being a little slept on because the Nuggets are very, very good. Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Jeff Green, and Nikola Jokic. They have a great, great team. Aaron Gordon is who I forgot as a power forward, by the way. Excuse me. But, wow, this team is good. Very, very good. This team is a team that I think is really going to be competing for the NBA Finals now that Jamal Murray's back. They're the 4th seed, in my opinion. 3 seed goes to the Utah Jazz. The Jazz finished as the 1 seed last year, but still went out in a disappointing fashion in the playoffs last year. And hopefully they'll look to not be a disappointment again this year. So, for this Utah Jazz team, they've got Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Royce O'Neal, Bogan Bogdanovic, or not. Oh, gosh. And Rudy Gobert as their starters. And Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles are 2 of the best bench players in the league. Hassan Whiteside's solid off the bench as well, and Eric Pascal. And the number 2 seed is the Phoenix Suns, in my opinion. The Suns are a very, very good team. The Suns are so good, and they really got a taste of the playoffs last year. Like, that was their first real taste of the playoffs, and they played that well. Going to the NBA Finals last year, unfortunately losing to the Milwaukee Bucks. There's something to be very, very happy about with this Suns team. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton are their starters, and they've got a great bench as well. Landry Shamet, I think, is going to provide some 3 points off the bench. Cameron Payne and Cam Johnson. And the number 1 seed goes to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers are a team that now has the advantage of LeBron and AD being healthy and having a full offseason of rest, which is something that they should be very excited about. Let's go ahead and head over to the Western Conference playoff predictions. Then 1 seed versus 8 seed. Lakers beat the Blazers pretty easy. Suns beat the Grizzlies as well. Jazz beat the Clippers. And the Nuggets beat the Mavericks. I'm sorry that I picked all the higher seeds, but realistically, that's just what I think is going to happen. Western Conference predictions from there, we're down to 4 teams. Lakers, Nuggets, I have the Lakers winning. Suns versus Jazz, Suns win. And I said the Nets were my team in the Eastern Conference. And for the Western Conference, as much as this might surprise people, Phoenix Suns. I think the Suns win the NBA Finals this year. I think they got a great taste. If they're going to play that good in their first playoffs, this is a team that is going to go deep, deep, deep this year. And I think that the Phoenix Suns will win. Yes, a lot of people are saying the Lakers. And the Lakers have not looked good at all in the preseason. And I'm not taking any account into the preseason at all. But I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns as winning the NBA Finals. I've got the Nets versus Suns, and I've got the Suns winning. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications. Because, like I said, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications and leave a like because we're going to have great basketball content on this channel throughout the NBA season. So, make sure you subscribe, leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.